The future of orthodontics is evolving and changing every day. But although the way to achieve practice growth has changed, there's never been a better time to be an orthodontist. Let's get into the minds of industry leaders, forward-thinking orthodontists, and technology insiders to learn how they see the future of the orthodontic specialty. How will digital orthodontics, artificial intelligence, clear aligner therapy, remote monitoring, in-house printing, and other innovations change the way you practice? Join your hosts Dr. Leon Klempner and Amy Epstein each month as they bring you insights, tips, and guest interviews focused on helping you capitalize on the opportunities for practice growth. And now, welcome to the Golden Age of Orthodontics with the co-founders of People and Practice, Dr. Leon Klempner and Amy Epstein.
So what's going on? I thought this was supposed to be a big bounce up year for us as orthodontists, and I just got to look at some of the gauge data that recently came out, and new patients are down 8%, production is down 6%. Whether you believe there is a recession coming or we're in one really doesn't make much of a difference because our target audience, consumers, already believe that we're in a negative turn down and that it will continue, and they're making adjustments in their purchasing decisions. So regardless of reality, it's here for us and we need to deal with it. But the good news is that the orthodontic industry historically is very resilient. And we bounce back, and when we do bounce back, we bounce back stronger than ever. So we just have to weather this storm a little bit and keep remembering that whatever got us this far may not get us through the future.
You know, so the outlook is not doom and gloom, even though right now it feels a little scary that some things are changing and not in our favor. But there are things that we should be doing, practices should be doing, doctors should be doing to look at profitability and reduce cost, as you do in this sort of climate. First, we know that remote monitoring can do a lot toward that end. But also, if you look at your costs, aligner lab fees, we all know, are one of the costliest items in the budget. They just comprise a significant portion of what it costs to run an orthodontic practice.
Welcome to the Golden Age of Orthodontics. I'm Leon Klempner, a retired board-certified orthodontist and part-time faculty member at Harvard. And I am also the CEO of People and Practice.
And I'm Amy Epstein. I have an MBA in marketing and 20 years of PR experience. I co-founded People in Practice with my dad just about a decade ago. Today, we're pleased to have OrthoFX's CEO, Ren Menon. A little background on Ren. Prior to founding OrthoFX, he spent 13 years in leadership roles at Align. He served as the director of R&D, the head of professional marketing for the ortho channel in North America, and global head of product and innovation. He's also the co-founder of other fledgling startups outside dental, and he sits on the board of several fast-growing early-stage companies. Ren, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here today.
Amy, thank you so much for having me. Dr. Klempner, it's good to see you again.
All right, Ren, you call me Leon.
I'll try. It's an old habit, like I was saying. I'll try. That'll be the test
okay.
today.
That'll be the challenge for today.
Although, if my mother were alive, she would appreciate the Dr. Klempner, so you could feel free to use either one.
She would be proud.
Yeah. Okay. One less thing to worry about.
Absolutely. All right, so let's get right down to it. At one point, we only had one aligner company, the leading brand. And if you were going to do clear aligners, you had to use them. But now we have several aligner companies in the market and many, many choices, OrthoFX being one of them. So tell me, Ren, why should we use OrthoFX and what makes it different?
So start with great brand, by the way. I'm talking about the first and only brand that existed. What we are trying to do, I'll be glad to explain why we exist and what makes us different and hopefully special. So to summarize, I would say that OrthoFX has truly built the next generation aligner product for orthodontists. Now, I'm sure that you hear a lot of that these days. That is a claim that many others might be making. So let me substantiate my claim by sharing what makes us different. And let me do that on 3 dimensions. Since we are talking about 3D in orthodontics, let me also position our differentiation, OrthoFX's differentiation in 3D. So the first part, let's start with the polymer. I think we all can agree that it's the very foundation of what moves teeth with aligners. This is why Lock Fan is one of my co-founders. We saw the polymer as an ignored, under-tapped opportunity in all of aligner orthodontics. So Lock Fan is a phenomenal, interesting person. He invented the first clear aligner polymer, and he has over 100 patents in the space. So we are overall, in general, we are looking at polymers as a platform for innovation. With us, it is not a one-size-fits-all where the same polymer does everything and for all patients and in all situations, for all cases, all the time. I don't think it should be if you think about the clinical needs of each case. So let me share with you one example. I'll also try to give one example each for each dimension. So with OrthoFX, the polymer and the aligner that we are using to rescue cases from mid-course corrections, which I understand happens a high majority of times. Some industry literature shows that it happens up to 70% of the time. So that polymer, that aligner is different, completely different than our baseline polymer and aligner. So we use multiple polymers intelligently in our treatment for each patient based on the needs of that treatment during that specific person's treatment duration. So that's the first dimension. The second dimension, let's talk about software. So software eats the world, right? So let's talk about software. We have had the fortune of building this company in the 2020s, where AI and ML have evolved from being attractive catchphrases to real technology that can be deployed and used. We've used advancements in those space to not just bring the latest in treatment planning, but also in other areas that are critical to running your business. Like, for example, financing. Since we are in an economically challenging environment, I'll definitely hit upon that point. We have a fintech solution that we have built that comes bundled with our product. Let's look at remote monitoring, following up on pending patients, or building a collaboration platform to drive more cases to orthodontists from other doctors. The list is long, and I'll save some for later. And I would like to make sure that I cover the third dimension, which is the platform and the business model. If you look at most of the brands in the industry, the challenge that you're running into is that they're all, in some ways, I would say, old-fashioned med device businesses that follow a manufacturer model, which means that they make a device, and in some ways, I don't know how else to say, they throw it across the wall to orthodontists and leave the rest to the orthodontist to turn that device into a profitable business proposition, which is what they fight a lot with. They're great in being clinicians, but they may not want to be experts in financing or the latest change in the insurance policy that is going on around them. It takes a lot of heavy lifting, and they're doing this by signing up for multiple vendors for these various services. We built this company right from the ground up with an ecosystem approach to deliver values to deliver our value to orthodontists. Much like what you're used to with Amazon and other platforms. So with us, you're not getting access to the latest innovations in polymers and software. You're also getting access to everything else that you need to turn the medical device into a profitable business proposition. With a single login and with a single patient list, you can access all these features: financing, monitoring, collaboration, virtual treatment coordinators, insurance concierge, which eliminates the need for paying multiple vendors. It means that you're more profitable. Lab fee is just one part of our total cost of ownership. So that's an interesting concept that I want to make sure that you're keeping in mind when you're evaluating propositions, because some of these some of the brands make you think that that's the only thing that matters. When you do your financial analysis, you will see that that is an important part, but that's not only part. This whole concept of total cost of ownership is something that you absolutely should consider when choosing any provider that you work with. So we reduce your total cost of ownership. We match your lab fee that you're getting today and include all the things that I said as a part of your treatment fees. There's no need to pay extra. So those are the three dimensions, Dr. Klempner and Amy, that makes us different and special. Now, there are many development tracks within each of these. There's a lot of nuance and detail to each that if there is time and interest, I'll share more. So that's a long-winded answer to the question, but that is the complete answer.
So that's really helpful. The three dimensions, I like how you categorize them. But tell me, so I'm going to go off book, of course. We usually, my dad and I go through and we decide what kind of questions we're going to ask you. And then inevitably we shift from that. So let me ask you from an orthodontist's perspective, how does it work when you sign up with OrthoFX? Like, take me through the journey from an orthodontist perspective when working with OrthoFX in this sort of new paradigm of providing aligner therapy to patients.
Sure. So it works. We've built it in a manner that your educational process, your onboarding with OrthoFX and the systems is as seamless as, I would say, like, again, to borrowing a cliche, as easy as 1, 2, 3. High majority of you are already trained on digital treatment planning and digital use of systems to provide treatments to your patients. So the digital side of your treatment planning, there are some nuances where we do things differently, but most of it is you already are familiar with the workflow there. We provide you with an online educational program where you are trained not just on our clinical protocols and our clinical systems, but also on the various choice of polymers and when they're deployed intelligently and how can you request for each, which is different than what you're used to today. You can also, as part of the onboarding, learn on how to use our support systems, like how do you use our financing platform? How do you use our remote monitoring platform, which is all built in. So it is, signing up is really easy. You sign up and then we schedule an onboarding typically within 2 weeks. Now we are running a little closer to about a month. We are working on shrinking that timeline to about a week or so. And then once you are approved and you are a network provider, you have a portal that we'll be setting up for you, and then you're ready to transact and do business with us. Now, if you're also joining our collaboration program, which is called FX Collaboration, there's some additional steps that you have to go through. This is what drives new patients to you from other doctors in your neighborhood. So that's an additional step that you need to take. But in general, this is designed for someone who's familiar with other clear aligner systems to go from zero to doing all the treatments with our system in no time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And logistically, how does it work logistically? So we have different parties, right? You said there are three dimensions, and that third paradigm is really how the business model is different. How is the business model different? So
logistically, the way it works is we sent you an agreement on Panda Docs, to get very specific, or to, on Salesforce, you would sign the agreement and then you become a member of a network. We ship you an onboarding kit, at which time you're ready to go. We accept your portal is set up. All the instructions that you need to use the portal is built right into the portal itself, using just-in-time learning technology, and also using videos that you can watch later if you need to get further deeper into it. We are also a CE certified education provider for AGD PACE, so you could take some of our courses if that's what interests you. From that time, we accept scans from any scanner. We are platform agnostic. We can accept scans, we can accept PVS impressions, and we can even accept photographs for treatment evaluation. So once you do that, we get the patient moving from interest to a sale to treatment to post-treatment, all through our systems, all of which are designed for easy operation by you as the orthodontist and by your staff members. Each of you get a different login for that purpose.
Let me jump in a little bit here and get down to some nitty gritty. So from what I understand, the patient through the finance system would pay directly to OrthoFX, and then OrthoFX would pay the doctor, the orthodontist, a fee. Is that correct? And if it is, what is it?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Dr. Klempner, because I think there are some misconceptions around this area. So our general philosophy as a company is we meet the customer where the customer is at, as opposed to here's my highway. It's either this highway or no way. you can engage with us in a manner that you choose fit for your practice. If you have an existing financing platform that you're comfortable and happy with, by all means, stick to it. You can run us just like you would run another clear aligner company today, where you can collect the payment using your point of sale system, using your financing, and then we can invoice you for a lab fee. Or if you'd like to qualify more patients, we can finance 100% of your patients. And you would like to save your card swipe fee. It is about 2.65 to 4% based on the transaction provider that you're using for using a credit card on your portal. Talk of total cost of ownership, a hidden cost that you may not be aware of. You could transfer that to us. We are happy to take on that fees, reduce it, in fact, reduce it to zero, and then pay you upfront within 5 days the amount that the fee that is due to you. So this way, you are never running a bill with us. You're always getting a payment with us. One of the challenges that I had seen with orthodontists, especially high volume orthodontists, was that they get to a certain volume and they do not grow beyond that because they need to keep a certain amount of cash in reserve for you to continuously pay your lab bills. With us, there's no concept of a lab bill if you want to operate in that mode. We will keep paying you for every treatment that we collect money on our point of sale system right up front. The other important thing to mention, Dr. Klempner, is that the patient financing, we can approve 100% of the patients, and even people with absolutely poor credit, like credit scores of close to zero, if you can believe that. And even on those patients, you have no credit risk. We pay you right up front. That way we own the risk because we have, as a fintech platform, we have different ways to manage that risk as opposed to you trying to solve it individually as a small business owner.
Okay, Ren. So, in these economic times, it's nice to get money up front and be guaranteed some income. So I could see that. But still, how much does the patient pay? And how much does the orthodontist get for the case?
Okay, so that's a great question. Sorry, I skipped over that detail. The patient payment is determined by you. Again, our philosophy is we do business the way you would like to do business. We're not in the business of mandating things or insisting that this is the only way. You know your customer the best, your business the best. We are here to serve you on your terms. You set the fees, you decide what that patient's clinical complexity is and your assessment of what that patient should be charged. What we do is pay you upfront the fee that you owe, that you're owed minus our lab fee. And our lab fee is typically we match your current lab fee. In many cases, we lower it for you.
So if I was to charge $5,000, and let's say the lab fee, my lab fee typically is $1,600, you would pay me the difference.
That's exactly right. And right up front, right up front in 5 days, correct.
So the next question I have is, I went onto the website, tried to learn about the company as much as I could. It seems to be that you ship the aligners directly to the patient. If that's correct, that concerns me that we're missing out an important element of seeing the patient in the office, doing an exam, taking a radiograph, informed consent. We just had our previous podcast with Trey Lawrence from the AAO, and he identified what he called what was it? Legitimate versus illegitimate. So legitimate, according to the AAO, was you had to see the patient in person rather than everything being remote. A radiograph, records or radiograph before moving the teeth, and a discussion of informed consent with the patients were all like the three pillars that he described. So does OrthoFX fit into that or not?
I love the way it is defined by the AAO. We are I'll date back to the founding moment of this company. I had left orthodontics in 2016 after spending 14 years. I wanted to do something else in some other industry, but I was one of the key things that brought me back was looking at how the profession was evolving, the direction it was taking, and how wrong it was, especially taking advantage of I would say, a poorly informed patient or a consumer by deploying large amounts of marketing to convince them that a doctor or care in person is optional. The founding moment for OrthoFX had its roots exactly to combat this negative, extremely dangerous movement. We do not support it one bit. We do not ship aligners to the patient. If there is any indication or misconception that exists that we do, I really want to straighten that perception right now. Our website, all it does is it hosts a doc locator, just like some of our competition does, our B2B competition does, people who do it properly do. That's pretty much it, nothing more. We do not sell aligners directly to the patients. We insist that an in-person meeting is needed. On our platform, the doctor is in control. They pick the product, they set the price. All that we do is support that doctor using a complete set of solutions to convert that patient and to support them through their through their treatment journey and the post-treatment life. So we are 100% compliant on all the three ways that you said that a really legitimate orthodontic player should play. In fact, that's the only way that, in my humble opinion, brands should exist in this country and worldwide.
So I'm hearing in through my telepathic powers from the audience. I'm hearing my colleagues, my orthodontic colleagues, sending me a signal, and the signal is doctors. You're mentioning doctors. So doctors could be orthodontists, or they could be general dentists. So as an orthodontist, I'm sure our listeners as well are concerned about the orthodontic specialty and the fact that orthodontics can circumvent the orthodontist. So tell me how OrthoFX works, whether you need to be an orthodontist or not an orthodontist, and what your view is on that. What would you say to our orthodontic colleagues out there that are listening that are concerned about the integrity of the specialty moving forward?
Absolutely. So this is extremely important to our team as well, making sure that the right cases are funneled to the right people. So today what happens, let's look at the landscape, Dr. Klemner. Today what happens is there are about a high majority of dentists, GP dentists, about 65% of them, they do not diagnose or they do not treat with aligners. They may have gotten training on aligners, but they do not use aligners at a frequency that makes them any kind of comfortable with using aligners. When I say comfortable, I mean clinical confidence. So what do? They basically do not diagnose enough, and they do not make a recommendation in terms of orthodontics. They just do their bare minimum that is needed. When I say bare minimum, I mean what they're primarily responsible to do and no more. What if we could create a platform where these doctors are incentivized to screen for orthodontics every time, and not just that, send a qualifying patients not to their homes where they will be seeing these ads on TV funded by these companies that are bypassing doctors and dentists and orthodontists, sending aligners directly to their homes. What we are doing is instead serving those patients. There are 80 million of them, connecting those doctors, GPs, with local orthodontists, local or nationwide orthodontists, to funnel patients, to channel patients to the right care provider. So that channeling could happen in one of two ways. One is if it is a high majority of them will do an orthodontic evaluation, make sure that the patient is a candidate, and transfer that patient digitally on a platform to a local orthodontist. The other way that they could do is if the treatment is simple, the treatment is within their clinical scope or capabilities, they can do this, but under the direct supervision of an orthodontist. So the orthodontist serves as the clinical brain, if you may, with the general practitioner dentist acting like their hands, delivering the treatment, for which the orthodontist is charging a fee. This way, the profession and reach of orthodontics is not just limited to the 8,000 people and about 12,000 locations that you have. It is reaching the 178,000 GP locations. And not just that, we're also expanding the concept of collaboration, not just within the profession of dentistry, but also with the adjacent professions. Like, for example, how many times have you heard of somebody getting plastic surgery, but just walking out with teeth that look not exactly perfect? What if there was a way to combine these two specialties and these two treatments together where we can cross-pollinate, where we could drive support for each other, and in the end, deliver responsible care to patients? That's what we stand for. And what we are trying to do is, through our technology solution, 10x or 50x the reach of your profession with patients.
So this model that you're talking about would have orthodontists as the diagnostician or setting up the case, would be the consultant in the case, and the general dentist would actually do the execution. Is that right?
That is correct. That's one mode. You can operate in two modes within our platform. One mode is called Connect, where the general practitioner is not interested or not confident in doing orthodontics at all. In that case, they're comfortable doing an evaluation for which we pay them, irrespective of whether that treatment turns into a case or not. And then that patient goes to a local orthodontist to get the treatment, while the GP is partnering with the orthodontist to remotely monitor the treatment. The GP is monitoring for dental hygiene indications, and the orthodontist is monitoring for orthodontic indications. And then when that treatment is over, the patient goes back to their clinical home, which is the GP's office. So the GP is now partnering throughout that journey. That way, this treatment is happening within her supervision and within her control or his control also, along with creating a great experience for the orthodontist. So that is one mode. The second mode is exactly what you said, where the orthodontist acts as the consultant or the clinical brain, if you may, providing the GP the right guidance that is needed to deliver a good outcome to that patient. In other words, we have a hub and spoke model. The orthodontist is at the center of this value chain, enabling these treatments that are all driven by professionals, not a value chain where this entire profession is missed and patients are getting treatment away from offices.
Okay, that's very helpful in terms of explaining how it works. I think that we had a little pre-show chat, and in terms of dispelling any misconceptions, I think that does explain a lot. So thank you for that, Ren. We often take questions from our listeners, and so we had one come through by email that I'll just read to you and see if you wouldn't mind answering it, which is, can you share a major trend that you think will impact the future of orthodontics?
Okay. Since I'm fresh from what I just explained, I'm going to go at this not just from a recency bias, but I profoundly believe in this. I'll share two trends instead of one. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, so I think both these trends will keep orthodontics as a specialty relevant, and not just relevant and vibrant for the next many, many decades to come. The first trend is practicing in a borderless world where you're not rate limited by your geography or distance. And the second is growing your impact through collaborating with other disciplines. They're both related concepts, which is why even though it may appear like two, they're essentially the extension of one concept into the other. And this is all powered by underlying technology that includes things like AI and ML, remote monitoring, and so on and so forth. So let's focus on the foundational issue that the profession faces, one of the foundational issues. I think it is that because it's a specialty, there are only about 8,000 of you. And the procedure, just by the nature of it, requires in-person visits. So naturally, your impact in the world today is rate limited by the distance to the population that you can serve. So want to just do a quick thought experiment. What if this limitation disappeared? What if the world was your customer base? What if, related to that thought, what if you could expand your business without adding more to your real estate, adding more chairs, if you may, which is one way that I'm seeing people are thinking about growth these days. which is a very traditional way to think, but is there another way to grow without just adding real estate? What if you can create an asset-light scaling strategy, especially that is location independent? So that's one thought and a trend that will be especially relevant, and someone will need to solve it. Someone will solve it. Hopefully it's us, but that's a trend that for the times to come. The other part that I want to mention is that orthodontists today, when it comes to demand generation, they're working as an island, if you may, knowing fully well that customer prospects visit doctors in your adjacent professions. For example, like I was saying before, GP dentists who do not do ortho, right? They are sitting on about 80 million patients. When I say patients, 80 million prospects. These are people who have some form of malocclusion that can use a treatment. This is why I'm not at all concerned about the vibrancy of this profession and downturn, because this category is so undertapped. With the right technology solution, with the right brands stepping up to solve this problem, which I hope the economy forces us to, these solutions will be in place, which should ensure that the profession is served and grows vibrantly, like I was saying before. Going back to collaborating with other professions, I'm not talking just about dental, but let's think a bit broader. Why not medical? Why not collaborate with plastic surgeons? What if we could do it all the same time, where you're collaborating and you're delivering these multiple benefits at the same time? You're not just fixing your teeth, but you're taking care of something else also. So if you really leverage these two trends, we are now talking about, like I was saying earlier, 10xing or 50xing the reach of your profession, which should mean a profitable, vibrant future for orthodontics. So to share further, there's a platform that we worked on with these two trends in mind. It's called FX Collaboration. FX Collaboration is a portal. We use the latest in AI and ML technology there to help you scale your business through collaboration. And over there, we are investing in demand generation dollars to send more patients to orthodontists. And we enable both in-person and virtual collaboration modalities, which again makes the profession virtual and non-location dependent. So we've just completed a very successful pilot using that platform. And we just opened that platform for use by 100 orthodontists in the US. So again, this is how we are putting money where our mouth is in terms of supporting the profession and helping grow and scale and embrace the needs of 2020s and beyond.
Mm-hmm. So Ren, just a quick note there. You mentioned a remote monitoring tool as one of the two trends, and just to follow up, because it sounds like it's part of this collaboration platform. So you're launching a remote monitoring piece of technology that accompanies the aligners, and is that part of the whole ecosystem?
That is correct. That's correct, Amy. So as I had shared with you, our general approach is an all-in-one ecosystem, a platform approach to our solution. With us, you're getting all that you need to turn the device into a profitable business. All this from a single login and a single patient list at no extra fees, just as a reminder. Our solution for remote monitoring is called FX OnTrack. Let me quickly share with you how it works. It leverages patient-generated photos to see if a case is on track or not, and it uses computer vision technology. But that might be similar to what a lot of others are doing, at least a couple of other brands or a couple of other solutions are doing. Here's the best part. It not only detects the problem when things are off track, it helps you fix it too, all remotely without office visits. So it is not just, people say that I used to be a consultant back in the day, and the job of a consultant, my customers would tell me, is to not solve problems, but point out that, hey, there's a problem, here's another problem. I feel that that's one way to deliver value. My sense is that the best way to deliver value is not by pointing out a problem, but also offering a really good solution also. This is why Lock Fan and our team worked over several years to invent Rescue Aligners. Rescue Aligners is a special aligner made with a special polymer with a special construction that can correct up to 1 month of deviation from plan with just one aligner, which is shipped to the patient's home. So imagine that mid-course correction process today, which involves, revisit to the office, a rescan, retreatment plan, remake of the aligners, revisit to fit the aligners, throwing all the old aligners in the, wherever you throw it to. I'm sure you don't recycle it. And then you're getting back on track, in which time you created so much waste and also wasted time, which you cannot absolutely recover in the form of 8 to 10 weeks is lost. With us, we are detecting this this cases going off track remotely and offering a solution which is shipped within days to the patient's home, and the patient is back on track, which you can track all remotely, that the patient is back on track. And all this is being done without office visits. This way, again, this is a key part of reducing office visits, decreasing your chair time. I know that is extremely important for you. And also, more importantly, increasing your reach. You could now take on patients 100 miles from now, 500 miles from now, because you can fix things remotely. So this is our remote monitoring system is built not just for problem detection, but also for problem solution, which is what makes it unique.
Mm-hmm. Ren, thank you so much. I really appreciate that explanation and underscoring the differentiation. We appreciate you being here with us today. If our listeners would like to learn more about OrthoFX or about you, or would like to contact you, what is the best way to reach you?
Okay, so I believe in making myself available to our customers. So I'll give you two options. One is just reach me directly. My email is Ren, like my first name, REN, @orthofx.com. Love to hear from customers, especially learning from you and understanding what we are not doing right just yet. That way we can deliver the solution that you would like to see in the world. So that's the first part. Ren, REN, as in Nancy, @orthofx.com. It's the first way. The other way is by visiting orthofx.com. There is a sign-up portal there. Or you could look at www.fxcollaboration.com. Again, www.f as in fan, X as in xylophone, collaboration, the word, .com, or one word. And you can go there, and we are signing up 100 orthodontists to join our initial group of clinical directors to be on that platform. So these are three different ways that you could reach us and become a part of our movement. We are trying to really make a difference here in the industry, and hopefully other brands will join us as well.
Thanks again, Ren. We hope to have you on again. And in the meantime, appreciate your time.
Thanks, Ren.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Kramer. Thank you, Amy.
A few updates before we close the show today. We're excited to join the McGill and Hill Group at their upcoming second annual summit, which is November 4th and 5th in Uptown Charlotte. We'll be presenting on how to grow your practice in a digital world, but because it's McGill, you can also learn about tax and business strategies, transition options, legal issues and transitions, navigating OSOs. You can learn about it all with McGill. You can also use the promo code SUMMIT10 to receive a discount of 10% on your registration at mcgillhillgroup.com/summit2022.
And if you want to see me in person, I will be appearing in Las Vegas. ULab event is called the Ultimate Digital Office. If you're interested in reducing aligner costs, strategies to grow your practice during challenging times, then this is the event for you. So I hope to see you Friday, November 11th in Las Vegas. More information on the ULab website.
This episode is sponsored by ULab and also Dental Monitoring. We're pleased to work with these two companies because they are really leaders in innovative orthodontic technologies, and they come to the table during challenging economic times. As Ren said, it's not only the practitioners, the orthodontists who need to change what they're doing when we face challenges, but also the industry providers, the technology providers that we rely on to come to us with innovations to help us through challenging times and also help us reposition on practices to be able to grow and thrive in the future. So thanks for watching and listening. If you want to contact us directly or ask any questions, Leon or Amy at pplpractice.com. I just took your lines, Dad. Sorry.
That's okay.
Just
That's
to wrap
okay.
things up. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think that there's a lot. We bring innovators to the show to be able to tell you what they have to offer. Now is really the time to be looking at new technologies that innovative companies like OrthoFX and DM and ULab are bringing to us to look at. They're filling a need that is clearly, has opened up because of challenging economic times and the changing nature of the orthodontic industry. And so, Benson Koppel and others have indicated that it's, not the time to be cutting back necessarily, but the time to be investing in technology and marketing right now while cash flow is still positive as we head into some challenging times. So just a note there that now's the time to be looking at these types of technologies. So I'll leave it to you to say the line, Dad, that you say at the end.
I will.
Go for it.
And we still strongly believe this is a golden age right now. We're going through a dip. We need to make some adjustments, reducing aligner costs, increasing profit per visit with remote monitoring. These are all ways of doing it without sacrificing quality. So until next time, be profitable. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Golden Age of Orthodontics. Subscribe now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or visit our website at thegoldenageoforthodontics.com for direct links to both the audio and video versions of this episode.